Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Cummings, members of the committee. I'm very pleased to be here today to talk about the implementation of the DATA Act. I'd like to start by commending you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Cummings, and others, Mr. Connolly and the whole committee, for your vision and persistence in bringing the DATA Act to fruition, and for holding this very important hearing on early implementation phases. As I've testified before this committee before, I think effective implementation of the DATA Act can have profound implications for increasing the transparency of government spending for the public, facilitate better management by agency managers by giving them more accurate and timely information to manage by, and thereby promoting the efficiency and effectiveness of government, and also help facilitate efforts to reduce and hopefully eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse in the federal government, and identifying overlapping and duplicative programs that can be identified and remedied. Now, effective implementation, in my opinion and experience, will not happen without strong leadership by OMB, Treasury, and attention by the agencies. And I think our recent report on usaspending.gov really illustrates the challenge here. 5 years after implementation, in 2012 data, on usaspending.gov, we went in and took a look to see about the completeness and accuracy of the information. And we found 324 programs were not recorded in the database. Senator Portman mentioned the number omitted, which is $619 billion of spending was not included. We also checked the 21 data elements that were supposed to be included in the DATA Act and traced them back to their agency records, and only found 2 to 7% of the information tracked back successfully for all the data elements. So we really have to do better with the DATA Act implementation. OMB and Treasury have agreed to implement the recommendations. I've talked to Dave Mader and Dave Liebrick about it, so I'm very pleased about that. But I would say that sustained congressional oversight is also very warranted in this area. For our part at the GAO, I'm giving this a high priority. Our work, the legislation calls for our first report to be in 2017, but you can look for a report from us next year. We're going to track every stage of the implementation over the period of time, not just look at the after-the-fact reports by the IGs. I want to make sure the data standards are complete and consistent. The agencies are poised to implement it successfully. The consultation agreements have worked successfully, and that we're off to a good start in implementing this. Also, and I plan to continue to give a high priority to making sure we have complete and accurate reports on the government's financial condition. In my statement today, I've included the results of our last audit of the government's financial statements, in which we were unable to render an opinion because of serious control weaknesses. I mentioned the 3 major impediments to getting an opinion on the statement, which is serious financial management problems at the Department of Defense, and problems at the Treasury Department, eliminating intergovernmental transactions and compiling statements. And it includes our opinion on the government's financial condition, which I believe continues to be on a long-term, unsustainable fiscal path. I'd be happy to answer questions about the DATA Act implementation and our work on the financial statements at the appropriate time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you again for inviting us to participate in this hearing.